Diabetes affects more than 8 million people in the United States who are dependent on insulin to survive. Last year, the Build Back Better Act lowered the cost of insulin by expanding Medicaid and capping the cost at $35. But unfortunately, many across the United States live in states that have not expanded Medicaid, or they're uninsured and cannot afford their insulin. U.S. Representative Pramila Jayapal is working to change that, and she joins us live tonight with Seattleite Kevin Wren, who is going to be her guest at tonight's State of the Union. Thanks to both of you for joining us.
Joyce, it's great to see you.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Congresswoman, I'll start with you. Why is access to insulin still so problematic for so many Americans?
Well, Joyce, this has been a huge issue, and I'm so grateful to Kevin for coming out here to share his story. But Kevin is one of millions of people across this country who have not been able to afford insulin. And that is because we have not done what we need to do at the federal government to cap the cost of insulin. That's what we finally did for Medicare, and of course for Medicaid, it's capped. And it did lead to some pharmaceutical companies finally saying, okay, we're also going to cap the cost at $35, but it's not enough. We have to make sure we are bringing down the cost of these drugs and not charging people ridiculous amounts just so they can live. And so the list of 10 drugs that we included in the Inflation Reduction Act does include the drug that Kevin is on. And I hope it's going to bring some relief to the 1 in 4 Americans across this country who are unable to get the treatments that they need.
Kevin, you were diagnosed with type 1 diabetes 2 decades ago. You're going to be at tonight's State of the Union. What is it you want people to know?
I've rationed insulin in my life several times due to the cost, where the cost was more than my rent. And that is a reality for thousands of people who still cannot afford their insulin. The price has exploded over the past 20 years, from $5 to going up to over $300 a vial. It's more expensive than Chanel per volume. And it's what I need to survive almost every hour of every single day. I die without it in like 2 hours. And the pharmaceutical companies know that, so they charge exorbitant amounts. But this is a step in the right direction, and giving Medicare the opportunity to negotiate on Novolog, the drug that I use, is huge. It's going
to make a huge difference. And you're going to represent so many Americans tonight at the State of the Union. Congresswoman, on tonight, how important is President Biden's performance at the State of the Union?
Well, it's going to be very important tonight because I think it's a unique opportunity for him to address the entire country and talk about how pharmaceutical companies have been profiteering off of the pain of people like Kevin. And so I think the president is going to talk about the next things that we want to do, which is to make sure that we expand this kind of coverage for not just for Medicare, not just for Medicaid, but for everybody to be able to afford insulin.
Well, we certainly appreciate your time, Congresswoman Jayapal, and Kevin Wren will be looking for you at tonight's State of the Union. Both of you, thank you so much.
Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you, Joyce.